In last class, we saw how just by learning a few consonants, you can start to read and write in Sanskrit. You may not read and write words that are fully Sanskrit, but because you can pronounce syllables, you can make words because Sanskrit is a phonetic language. So words like kick and cook, oh no, cake and ka, right? You can start to put sounds together and read and write in Sanskrit. We learned the first line of vowels. K, k, g, k, ng. Everybody say after me. K, k, g, k, ng. And when you say k and when you say k, your lungs should be getting exercise. Put your hands in front of yourself. From tomorrow, I'm going to ask you to bring a tissue to class. Okay? You say ka, it'll stay right there. You say ka, that tissue has to dance. Okay? Ga, ka, nga. When you say ka and when you say ka, that tissue has to move because the force of air coming from your lungs is supposed to be that much. Okay? Then we learned cha, cha, ja, cha, nya. So you've learned two lines in consonants, ga, ka, ga, ka, nga, and cha, cha, ja, cha, nya. Then I sent you all a few words to read yesterday. I hope that you were able to read them. How many people were able to read them very easily? Kinda, sort of. Who was like, no, 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 it was like just too hard. I couldn't read a single thing that I was seeing. Okay. It comes with practice, so you have to practice, okay? A little bit of practice every day, or a lot of practice in the beginning every day will make it easy. Actually, the hardest part of the language is this thing right here, the script. Once you get the script down, everything becomes easy in reading and writing because it's a phonetic language. There's no new ways to learn to pronounce it. You learn it one time, you learn it well, and you've learned it forever and ever for lifetimes. Because in your next lifetime, if you've learned it well, it will come to you so easily. Right? So you put the effort in, and if you die tomorrow, it won't go to waste. Okay? So you just keep trying hard and it will stick. I promise. That's just the way it works. Okay? I hope that you all wrote out for your homework. One of my lines is supposed to be one of your pages. You write it over and over and over and over and over again until it goes in. I did my share when I was learning it. I wrote it over and over again. So I only wrote it once for you all. Okay? You have to write it until it sticks effortlessly in your mind and you can say each sound correctly. Okay? All right. Now let us see what we are going to do today. We're going to learn more sounds. As I said, this is the hardest part. We're front loading the learning of all the sounds, and then everything will become easy. So today is class 6. Can you believe in 6 classes you can already read and write stuff? Can you imagine being in an English class and reading and writing this much in 6 classes? Impossible. You will still be learning what B says and what sound B makes and how many different ways there are to pronounce it. So unbelievable how much you can learn in Sanskrit. Okay, who can read this for me? I want everyone to read it, and I want you to type what it says in the chat. It's an English word that I'm writing in Sanskrit. It's an English word. Navin was first. Everyone get it? Joke. Look, you can even start to make joke in Sanskrit. Okay, read this for me. Oh no, you don't know that word yet. Ah, You know how you say chuk fire? Chuk. Look, you can write chuk now. In Ghana, chuk, when you say I'm going to chuk you, it means I'm going to tell on you. Chuk means different things. No? All right. And in Guyana, chuk fire means you're going to instigate something. Correct? Okay. Anyways, like this, you can see, you can start to say English words in your head and try and write them in Sanskrit. Especially today, we're going to learn 10 more sounds. After that, you'll be able to write many, 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 many words. So take a deep breath, strap in. Are you ready? Okay. How do you say, I'm only saying this in with the intention for you all to learn. How do you say the word tomato, tomato, in an Indian accent? Does everyone know how to say it with an Indian accent? Say it. Say it for me. I want to see. I can tell if you're saying it correctly. You have to do it with the head. Tomato. Everyone say, I'm not making fun. We're doing this for a reason. Tomato. Everyone say, tomato. That ta, tomato, is the sound that we're going to learn today. Okay? There are two types of T in Sanskrit. This is the first one. Ta. So before I tell you what the letter, how to write it, we usually use our friend, our Pac-Man friend. Some of you may have met him before. Your tongue has to be touching the middle of the roof of your mouth when you say this letter. So take your tongue, put it in the middle of the roof of your mouth and let it touch the top, just like Pac-Man, and say ta, 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 ta. You have to get this sound right. It is not common in English, so you have to practice it to get it right. Okay? And this is how you write it now. Look. A little stick and half a tomato. And as you write it, say ta, ta. Keep saying ta, ta, ta. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom, huh? In the script. Like, for example, if this is ka, right? Then the size of ta will be like that. Okay? Ta, ta. Ta like tomato. Ta like ta-da, ta-da, ta, 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 ta. It should not be hard to say once you know where the tongue goes. Ta. Okay. Next. If after ka comes ka and after ja comes cha, what do you think will come after ta? Ta. Ta. Everyone say ta. Ta. And the way to write it is extremely easy. This is the simple one. Ta is just the full round of a tomato. Ta. I can see when you're writing if you're saying it or not, eh? Please say it as you're writing. Ta. 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 In English transliteration, this is written with a T as a T with a dot underneath. Ta. And this one is T with a dot underneath and H. Ta. 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 Okay. Next comes the same line you're going to pronounce. Put your tongue at the middle of your roof and say this sound. Duh. 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 How to write it is very easy. How to write? A little stick and a S. Now note, we've learned letters like with a dot. We have learned letters with a tail. We have learned letters with more stuff. These are different. This one is just an S on a line. Duh. Duh. Why does duh look like an S? No reason. It just does. When you were learning English, and look at this. See this in English, right? This first letter is O. Then you add a stick and it becomes B. Then you add a stick somewhere else and it becomes D. Then you add a stick somewhere else and it becomes B. Then you add a stick somewhere else and it becomes Q. Did you ever question? Nope. So here also, you just learn it. Duh looks like an S. That's it. Duh. You say, write it a few times and you say it also as you're writing. Duh. 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 Okay. Like, ta-da, ta-da. If you put your tongue at the right place, you will get the right sound. And I can see most people are saying it. So I can hear you're saying it correctly. That is good. Duh, duh. Okay. After duh comes duh, 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 like this. This is how you write it. It looks kind of sort of like a fat six. Huh. Huh. Make sure that the loop of the six stays inside. It doesn't cross. Right? It should not look like this. The loop should stay inside. Huh. Huh. Da, huh, da, huh, da, huh, da, huh. And now the nasal means the sound that comes out of your nose. Say this sound with your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Tell me if I'm saying it correctly. Na. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Na. Thumbs down. Nga. Nya. Ra. 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 Na is correct. Listen. Again, these are difficult sounds in Sanskrit if you're not used to saying it, but once you pronounce it, you're good to go. Ra, ra. You say na, but your tongue is in the middle of your mouth. Ra, ra, la, ra. A famous word that it comes in is, okay, let me teach you how to write it first. This is what it looks like. It looks like an upside down N without the line, and the line comes on the side. Ra. Now, please don't mistake this line as an ah. The line is part of the letter. This is how you write ra. Ra. It's easier to say in words than to say out of words. Write it a couple of times and I'll give you some examples. Ra. Ramaya. It's not Ramayana. It's not Ramayan. It's not Ramayana. It's Ramayana. It is this letter that comes at the end. Try saying Ramayana. Ramayana. If you say Ramayan with the other na, or you say Ramayan, you know who you sound like? You sound like a Spanish person saying jalapeno. I don't want to try saying it. I mean, you know what it's supposed to sound like. When you say Ramayana without the ra, well, you sound like a Spanish person who doesn't know how to speak their language, right? Ganapati, not Ganapati, Ganapati. Ra. You learn this letter, you put the tongue in the right place, and the sound will come out correctly. Ganapati, Ramayana, Krishna, they all have this ra sound. It'll come with practice. Just get your tongue in the right place. Let me tell you, the way to write these letters in transliteration is the same. The dot comes underneath the letter. Okay? Da, dha, da, dha, ra. Okay. Now our next line, I want you to say this same T sound, but I want you to put your tongue behind your teeth. Where your teeth are, let your tongue touch the back of your teeth, like it wants to push them out into rabbit teeth. Put your tongue there behind your teeth and let your tongue try to push your teeth out. You feel your tongue on your teeth? Now with your tongue on your teeth there, say the. 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 You hear the difference between the and the? Okay. This line that we're going to learn, all the letters are said with the tongue touching the back of the teeth. The. The is the first one. The is very similar to our English the, right? The. Say it as you write it. It looks like a backwards H. The. 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 It comes in words like Sita, Garnapati, the. It is the most common the. The. Okay. After the comes the. Super easy. You guys are already composing letters also. After the comes the. The. So now here's how to write the. Look, watch first, right? Watch. It looks like a fancy 9. Kind of. Let me try that again. Looks like a fancy bent 9 or a comma. And you know the fancy comma. And then you have a line. Okay, let me separate it. A fancy comma thing. Then the line goes up. And then it comes down. Kind of also looks like a fancy bird. However you want to remember it. T, like thermos. Thermos. T. You write it a few times. This letter is fully claustrophobic, meaning sometimes you'll see on the ch, the line goes all the way. This letter, there's never a line on top of his curve. T. 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 Ready? For the next one. Ta, ta, da, da, or no. So what do you think this is going to be? Ta, ta, da, da. Say da with your tongue touching the back of your teeth. Da, da, da. Okay, this is how you write it. This time, the loop crosses. Da, da, da like devata. Da, da like digbandaha. Da. If you know Hindi, da like dekho. Da. See. Okay? Da. Da. After the comes the. And the is a word you have to get right. There are so many important sounds in Sanskrit with this the. Watch. It's a fancy E with a line on half of it. Another claustrophobic letter. Please remember we learned K. K looks like this. No loop at the top, and the line goes all the way. Both parts are touching here. This is K. Now we're learning the. Watch carefully. You make a little loop. You write a bent 3. Loop, bent 3, and then it goes to the top. Try that. The. The first word in Bhagavad Gita is dharma. Dharma. This is the dha in dharma. When you say Dhritarashtra Uvacha, this is the dha. Dhritarashtra, dharma, dha, dha, dha. You don't actually need examples so much. Once you get the right tongue placement, you get the sound right. That's why I'm not giving many examples. I want you to get it with the placement of your tongue. Once you learn where your tongue has to go, these letters, you will never make mistakes with them. The, h, the, and then you guessed it. Na, na. Again, now this time, where's your tongue when you're saying na? Na, same place, touching the back of your teeth with your tongue. Na, na. It looks like this. Na, a little loop that goes across, and then the line. You know, in Hindi, when Hindi, the word for tap is null. Null. Null is the word for tap. And in my mind, this kind of looks like a tap. You know how the tap comes out? Na. Na for null. If that helps you. Now you'll say na for tap, and that doesn't make sense. Na. Na for so many things. Oh, look at this. You just learned this letter and you're going to read something for me. This is na, right? Read this word. Or some people say this. Na. You just learned the letter and you're already using it. Look at that. And then the other side, the other half of this is nani. Nana and nani. And then okay, see what else you can write. Some people see this, read this. Ja. Aja. Aja. And try writing aji. The aj is already there. How would you write it as aji? Right. I see everyone's hands, the ponytail going this way. Aja, aji. Hmm? Instead of aja, aji, some people say dada, dadi. Look at that. You've reached your grandparents' generation already. Yeah, Sanskrit's not hard. You just have to practice. That is the only thing. A lot of practice required for these sounds, okay? So now, homework. Part one. Each of the 10 sounds we learned today, you know the drill. A whole page until your hand hurts, right? A whole page for each of the sounds. Everybody who is in the Sanskrit class who is 16 and under, sorry, in the Sanskrit class and Pandit class, 16 and under, you are going to send me 10 pictures of 10 pages of these sounds today. 16 and under. 17 and over, I expect you to do it without the pictures. Right? And if you have an iPad, no copy pasting, huh? You write it over and over and over and over and say it over and over and over. Okay? So that's homework part one. Part two, this is the fun part. I'm going to send you a picture on WhatsApp, and I want you to read those words to practice the letters we learned last week. Now, this time it's not going to be Sanskrit words, it's going to be English words. And because you don't know all the English sounds, it's going to look, let me give you an example of the first one. Guess what word I wrote? English word. Yeah, everyone's getting it. This is ko, and then you don't know how to write the next sound, so I wrote it in English. And then there's e, coffee. So you sound it out and try and guess what English word I have tried to write in half Sanskrit, half English. Okay? It's to practice not the sounds we learned today, but the sounds we learned last week. Okay? So practice these 10 sounds and learn, and then you can have some fun with these words. And I will see you all tomorrow. I must admit, the Sanskrit and Hindi script, which is the Devanagari script, is more involved than the alphabet initially because there's less letters to learn in English. But once you learn it, there are no variations. So even though it seems like a lot, it is actually a very efficient way of learning to read and write. So you put the time investment in now, and it will pay off for, I'm not exaggerating, it will pay off for lifetimes, right? So if you don't get moksha in this lifetime, you're in your next lifetime, you're going to continue and you're going to need it again. So you might as well put the effort in now and learn it now, so that when you get to your next life and you start to learn the letters, you're like, oh my God, this is such an easy language. So in case it's not easy, just put the extra effort in now, okay? And who says you have to say you won't get moksha in this lifetime? Everyone can get it now itself. Just put the effort and it will be yours. Okay, hands together. Closing prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Shri Sadgurnath Maharaj Ki Jai.